happening, YouTube? I wanted to go over the new event going on in Master Duel here. We've got the Duel Triangle, and shockingly enough, this has been a really solid event, in my opinion. As you can see, I've racked up quite a few points playing it, and I think they did a few things this time around that really made this event special, made it fun to play, made it not quite as frustrating as some other events, and I want to go over that with you guys today. And as usual, I'm going to show you guys some replays too. First thing I want to talk about is something that they did with this event that I wish they would do with more future events as well. You know, obviously when we're doing the Duelist Cup, that's something where competitive play is not only encouraged, but that's kind of the point of it, right? You're trying to find the best duelist, you're trying to find the #1. It's going to involve a lot of modern meta play. But for something like this that has a special rule or a special theme, they should work to make it more fun and make it more interesting and challenge players to play the game differently than they're accustomed to, because I think that is a really fun way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, if you've seen some of my videos, you know that that is the reason I play this game. So if we take a look at the limited forbidden list for each of the different attributes, obviously we can see we're looking at Dark and Water right now, that yes, Earth, Fire, Light monsters are banned, Wind banned, but check out what happens if we search the ban list for Dark and Water monsters. Now obviously there's some Dark and Water attribute monsters that are just going to be banned because they're already on the ban list. We've got Cyberstein, Catapult, Turtle, Needleball. Some of these I'm not actually sure why they're on here, to be perfectly honest. Like, I'm not sure why Mataza and Armed Samurai Benkei are on here. I'm guessing there's something broken you can do with equip cards to just like OTK with them or something, or make them invincible. But there's other stuff on here too that I think makes sense. We've got Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, Dimension Shifter banned, Ocean Dragon Lord Kiryushin banned. I don't dislike this card, but it is a floodgate, you know, let's be real about that. And I think that it's cool for them to say, hey, look, we're not doing floodgates, we're not doing, you know, the ability to just lock your opponent down, lock them out of playing the game. They've banned a lot of cards in that respect. They hit Tearlaments, they hit Labyrinth. And doing this, I think, really encourages people to play other decks, play other strategies, and not just try and cheese out a win with the strongest deck or by locking your opponent out of playing the game. And they basically did this for all of the ban lists. Like here, if we look at Light and Earth, another interesting one that I saw in here was Malevolent Mech Goku N. Not sure why that's on there. Somebody knows, please let me know in the comments. But Fossil Dyna, Pachycephalo, Vanity's Ruler, Thunder King Ryo, Naturia Bamboo Shoot, Max C. And it makes sense, right? Because if Light and Earth get Max C, everybody's going to play Light and Earth because you get Max C, and the other decks don't get Max C, and that would be ridiculous. They banned a few other things down here, like some of the Ishizu cards, Voiceless Voice, Fierce Tiger, Monghu. Just, again, preventing you from floodgating your opponent, forcing you to actually sort of play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In earnest and honorably without just trying to, you know, cheese out a win by locking your opponent down. Last but not least, let's just take a quick look at Fire and Wind. Not too much going on here. I think Fire and Wind is the weakest of all of the selections. Although I could be wrong, Dark and Water might have less points than them. But they banned the Tenpai Dragons. I think that's fantastic. Spell Canceller was also hit. Crooked Cook, which you can sometimes abuse as like an invincible wall, also banned. All good choices. Definitely led to some more exciting games this time around. Yeah, and Fire and Wind coming in at last. It's interesting, they didn't ban Ash Blossom. You'd think people would be playing Fire and Wind and taking advantage of that fact that you can still play Ash Blossom. I didn't see Fulos on there either. Could splash that in your deck, but I guess not many people are playing it. I played it, and one of the replays that I show you guys is going to involve my Fire and Wind deck, but yeah, I think this was fantastic. There's definitely a lot of people playing the loner decks. I've seen a lot of like the Shark deck. I have seen Dark End Dragoon pop up a couple times. The Red Eyes Dark Magician Fusion, Dark Dragoon, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, whatever it's called. I haven't seen much Blue Eyes for Light. And what is Earth there? I'm actually not sure what the Earth pre-made deck was, but haven't seen too much of that. Maybe it was like Primite or something. I might have seen that once or twice. Have seen a bit of the Salamangreat, and then I see Baronne de Fleur for Wind. I've seen more Lyrilistic, I think, than anything for the Wind deck. So, again, I've seen these decks. I've seen people playing the Loners, but I've seen a lot of variety too. So I'm going to show you guys 3 really cool duels that I had in the Duel Triangle event. So without further ado, let's check out some replays. Okay guys, first and foremost, let's take a look at the deck I was running for the first 2 replays. I was playing Warrock. I know what a lot of people are going to say in the comments. Warrock sucks, it's a bad deck. I know, everybody loves dumping on Warrock. I love Warrock. I love this deck. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of interesting plays and combos with it, some interesting things you can set up. And it's just kind of funny, you know? Most of what it does is during the battle phase. And a lot of what you're doing is just like forcing your opponent to fight you. There's no BS, there's no bullshit. It's just, hey, to hell with all of your card effects, come into the battle phase, fight me one-on-one. Well, it's not one-on-one because they get stronger when there's more of them on the field, but it's about fighting, okay? It's about coming to the battle phase, showing what you got, put up or shut up. One change that I did make later in the event was I got rid of Boxer. Originally, I put this card in just for the lulz, but it's because Fordia is a secret rare, and I think at the time I made this deck, I didn't have enough secret rare gems to craft a 3rd Fordia, so I did eventually take out Boxer for Fordia, because I love Boxer, I love the art. Even the effect, I think, is just fun, and it can work sometimes, bringing out bigger Warrock monsters, but he's not very good, I can admit that. Also running stuff like Rookie Warrior Lady. Obviously that helps with getting off the Warrock effects of your monsters where they need to battle for it. Rookie Warrior Lady's an ultra rare, and I think that's why I haven't crafted more of her. Combos really well with Skylar because you can send her from the field to the graveyard to activate her effect. So you can keep reviving her in perpetuity with Skylar. Very nasty combo. I've definitely made people rage quit with that one before. Also helps with getting back Warrocks as a last resort if you need to banish her from the graveyard to re-add 1 to your hand, but obviously reducing a monster's attack to basically 0 is the most helpful part because you can force them to battle. Shield Warrior, more helpful than you would think. You can a lot of times send it off of Dust Knight or with Warrock Orpus, and it helps when you have guys out like Meteor Dragon or Bashileos who they're not very strong yet either because they haven't gotten their attack boost going yet. Maybe you summon them on your opponent's turn with something like Warrock Mountain or Warrock Spirit. Shield Warrior can help you keep them protected, especially Meteor Dragon that you can really basically only banish him, bounce him, or kill him in battle. Shield Warrior is going to cover for you on that end, and again, then you're getting that boost. And really for all the Warrocks, you just need 1 monster to battle. So if you can protect that 1 monster 1 time with Shield Warrior from battle, you can trigger everybody's effect and start kind of snowballing from there. Dust Knight is great because you can send Bashileos to revive him by his own effect, to special summon himself. You can send a Warrock that you're going to grab back with Warrior Returning Alive. You can send back a Warrock that you're going to bring back with Warrock Spirit. Another thing that's been really helpful is bringing it back with Pinpoint Guard, sending like a Fordia, bringing it back with Pinpoint Guard. A lot of people are just, they don't read and they're dumb enough to attack into the Fordia, and then you're getting a free search off of it. Of course, you also have Spiritual Earth Art to do a tribute, you know, either Dust Knight or a monster sent off Dust Knight, bring out Fordia, Wento. Yeah, as far as the spells and traps go, 2 Dignity is a must. God, this card saves my life so often. Not only making it so that you're going to get your battles off, your opponent tries to activate effects during the battle phase, but negating monster effects, so helpful. It doesn't destroy, but it's totally fine. It doesn't need to destroy. A lot of times you just need to stop your opponent from doing it in the first place so that you can actually do what you're trying to do. Dignity is a fitting name for this card because a lot of times people try to take your dignity away and mess with you before you can get into the battle phase, and this card says no. You give me my battle, you let me die with honor, either kill me by having more attack, or I'm not going to die and you're going to die. Medium's a great card too. This is kind of a floodgate, and a lot of people don't recognize this. When your opponent controls a special summon monster, and you control level 7 or higher Warrock monsters, so Meteor Dragon or Bashileos, during main phase 1, neither player can activate the effects of monsters on the field. The only monster in this deck that could the only two that could possibly activate during the main phase are Dust Knight, if I flip him myself, and Marauding Captain, which it's not an issue. I can tell you right now it's not an issue. It's an issue for my opponent because they don't get any monster effects during the main phase, and that really screws them up. Other than that, we're running a lot of like the standard Warrock spells and traps. Mountain, I think, would be good at 2 here. Another reason I don't have it at more than 1 is because I didn't, again, it was the same issue with Fordia, but I've been getting by fine with 1. It's been okay. I think if anything, maybe I'd take out Earthar Kuragane for another Mountain. But yeah, that's my deck profile. I'm not going to get into all the Warrock effect monsters. You guys will see what they do when we're doing the replay. Real quick, let's take a look at our opponent's deck. They're playing Ice Barrier. I'm not sure if this is a pre-made. To me, it feels like it's not, because I'm pretty sure the pre-made was the Shark deck. As far as the extra deck goes, not only they have a lot of the Ice Barrier support, but they're also running some generic stuff like White Aura Whale, Ascon, Coral Dragon, Crystron, and a couple Link monsters. So here we go. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah, let's do this one first. So with this deck, usually you want to go second because you want your battle phase. You know, I mean, normal summoning a Fortia and doing nothing isn't going to do a whole lot for you. It's better to be able to battle. And also, I usually go second. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of my replays. I like the extra draw. You know, most of the decks I play aren't so broken that you're going to go wild off of a 5-card hand. So, yeah. But anyways, they're going to do a couple things here to bring out a Lancia off the bat. They end with Revealer and Georgius on the field and a face-down card. I'm activating Medium right away. Medium's going to give me Dignity because I need to negate the Lancia to stop them from just spamming out Ice Barrier monsters from the extra deck. Putting me in defense position, not something you usually want to do with Warrock. You want to be in attack. You want to be fighting. But yeah, they're going to link into the Marine Says Coral Anemone. I'm not sure why they put the Revealer and Georgius in defense, and same with the Ice Jade Ran Air Green. Maybe they had a bad experience with Mirror Force, I'm not sure, but either way, this wouldn't have lost me the duel. This would have been about 5,200 damage, but also I could have done Pinpoint Guard here to get Shield Warrior back. So anyways, we're going to do Warrock Medium, set Warrock Mountain, activate Mountain, place Meteor Dragon into the hand. Sometimes it's nice to kind of not go right for Meteor Dragon or Bashileos right away, but in this instance, what am I going to do? They've got Lancia on the field already. They got him out on turn 1, so we got to go balls to the wall here. So I use Warrock Mountain to bring out Meteor Dragon. They try to use Lancia on the special summon. Dignity is going to negate that. And this is where it gets fun. Wento takes out the Spirit. Ordeal is going to remove a counter to give me a draw. Meteor Dragon is going to activate to give everyone 200 attack. Meteor Dragon and Lancia. Wento gives Meteor Dragon 800 attack. Another draw off of Ordeal. Lancia tries to trigger here, but one of the beautiful things about Warrock Meteor Dragon is that when he declares an attack on a monster, its effects get negated, and for the rest of the turn, you can't use the effects of that monster. So that's really nice. Pulled off 3 destroyed monsters in battle this turn, so Ordeal gave me 3 draws, and I decided here to save the Sword of Dragon Soul. I figured with Ice Barrier, a lot of the extra monsters are going to be Dragon Synchro monsters, so it's a nice little card to have as backup. And at this point, they basically just threw in the towel because we beat over the Lancia and they didn't have anything else. I guess I do remember this. Yeah, they suicided they unalived their monsters so that they could trigger the lightning storms because they had no face-up cards. Meteor Dragon's just a great boss monster. You can't destroy him with card effects. And here's the other thing about Warrock monsters. If you blow them up with a card effect, you're going to get another of the big Warrocks from the deck. So they really do force you to battle. They literally do force you to be like, fight me or get the fuck out. They had Called by the Grave face down, so they're going to banish the Wento to negate the effect. Called by is not horrible. I mean, it beats Rookie Warrior Lady. It beats a Warrock's effect triggering in the graveyard, but it's just not the best card against this deck. It'll do some things sometimes, but you really need a bit more than that if you're going to stand up, go toe-to-toe with Warrock. So that one was pretty quick and easy, but it did feel good to get over Lancia, who can be a really annoying boss monster. This other duel that we had was against Blackwing. Now, let me show you guys this deck. This might have been one of the this maybe is a pre-made, I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, oh my god, Blackwing drives me nuts. The turns take so long, and every time you think it's about to be over, they have some kind of extender to keep it going. On top of the only Blackwing spells and traps they're running being Black Whirlwind and Black Feather Whirlwind, which are really the only ones I guess anybody plays. They're also running 2 Called by the Grave, Raigeki, Triple Tactics, Cross Out Designator, Forbidden Droplet, 2 Infinite Permanents, and 2 Blackwing Twin Shadow, which you can activate from your hand. So is it really a trap? Not so much. Main point of this deck is just to synchro out the copies of Blackwinged Assault Dragon, Draco Berserker, Armor Mass, Full Armor Master, Bestial Dissipator. Looking at this deck, I'm sure you're sitting there thinking, how does Warrock stand a chance? I don't remember, but I do remember that this was a really satisfying win. So let's take a look. Let's see how I pulled it off. Again, we're going to start this duel going second because we want that battle phase. Battle phase is one of the most important things. So that's how we're going to kick things off here. And I'm not even going to try and tell you what this person is doing. The fact that they opened with 2 Black Feather Whirlwind should tell you that they're going to get to do everything. Yeah, here already they're getting the 2 monsters that they sent for a Blackwing Dragon back, synchroing off into Boreas Storm, the Wicked Wind. He's going to Foolish the Zephyros. Zephyros is going to come back. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that you get to do the Black Feather Whirlwind again because it got bounced. So here they go and do another Blackwing Dragon. They're going to banish it along with the Boreas Storm for the Blackwing Assault Dragon. They're going to do another Boreas Storm because they used Black Feather Whirlwind again. They're going to do a Dissipator. They're going to do another Blackwing Assault Dragon on top of having Blackwing Dragon. And I don't remember what that face down is, but we saw their deck profile. It's probably not something good. So, reinforcement of the army into Fortia. Fortia, attack into the Blackwing Dragon. Again, I think it's probably Lightning Storm that this person was trying to avoid here with the Blackwing Dragon in defense position, but... Or maybe it was more so that, obviously when burn damage is inflicted, its attack's going to go down, but it would take 2 instances of burn to get this thing to 1400. Putting it in defense just seems interesting. I don't know that... I mean, they didn't know I was running Warrock. It helped me a ton, but I see people do this a lot. I think it's because they're afraid of Lightning Storm, but it just seems like a very NPC thing to do to me. I don't know. Anyways, 40 is going to trigger. Of course, we're grabbing Medium. It's the only way to stop the madness that's going on here. Blackwing Assault Dragon is going to trigger twice on the Fortia effect. Medium is going to activate and set Mountain. I'm going to activate Mountain to grab Wento because Meteor Dragon is not going to be strong enough to beat over some of these monsters. And then we're setting Impenetrable Attack and Spiritual Earth Urgani. So, Dissipator is going to activate and bring back Boreas Storm. Summon Sudri, get the Blackwing Trap you can activate from your hand, tributes Boreas Storm for a token. I'm taking 700. They're doing another Boreas Storm. Is that the third one? That's the second one? I feel like they put one back in the deck somehow. Black Feather Whirlwind is going to trigger 3 times? What? Oh, it's chain 3, sorry. 2 times they're getting back the Zephyros, they're getting back the Sudri. They're synchroing into Draco Berserker, and I'm sure in this moment they thought to themselves, like, peace out, dude. You're cooked. But yeah, would you believe that Impenetrable Attack would ever be a good card? Warrock Mountain's going to bring out Meteoragon, who can't be destroyed by card effects, and then Impenetrable Attack is going to make it so that he can't be destroyed by battle. So, giving us a nice impenetrable wall there. They battled with him, so Fortia triggers and gives us Dignity again because we need that negation. And then Fortia is going to get destroyed, unfortunately. What are you going to do? Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky, because with the 2 counters on Blackwinged Assault Dragon, it's basically, they're both 1 counter away from... Oh, they were 2 counters away. So there was a little bit of wiggle room here, I guess, more than I thought. But Medium only stops effects from activating during the main phase. Main phase 1, I should say. Main phase 2 is fair game. All my monsters' effects trigger during the battle phase, which means that it's fair game for Blackwinged Assault Dragon to trigger its effects at that point. And I think what I was worried about here, yeah, I needed to do Wento's effect and Meteoragon's effect, which would have been 2. Which would have given them 4 counters, and at that point, they would have been able to destroy all cards in the field. Now, Meteoragon wouldn't have been destroyed, and, you know, maybe I could have kept doing stuff from there. But it still, I think, would have been difficult. I guess I would have gotten a monster off Wento, too, but I wanted to keep Mountain out. I wanted to keep Medium out to floodgate them. Because, again, with a deck that like this that does as many effects as it does, Medium is basically my last line of defense. But anyways, Meteoragon in attack, summon Wento. During the battle phase, we're going to bring out Mahmood. I'm holding on to Bashileos because 2 reasons. One, if I can get them low enough, he is a stellar way to pull off a victory if your opponent has surmounted a comeback, because he can just bypass all their monsters and go in for a direct attack. But also, I wanted Mahmood on the field because I wanted to start clearing out some of these Blackfeather Whirlwinds. I was getting sick of these. So, Meteoragon attacks, activates its effect, Draco Berserker triggers to negate my effect and banish Meteoragon, and this would have killed it. I was starting to panic here because I thought that I was saving Dignity to negate the Blackwinged Assault Dragon, but what am I going to do? Tenyi would have gotten rid of Meteoragon, so I had to use Dignity to negate it. So, boom, Draco Berserker gets negated, Meteoragon pulls its effect off, and now because Meteoragon's effect activates to negate the battling monster's effect, they lose their black feather counters. It's this monster's effect that gives it the counters. With its effect negated, there are no more counters, although even if it got them, it wouldn't be able to remove them. And it pulled them from both because it negates all monsters with that name. Wento's going to activate, pay 800 to give Meteoragon a boost. Mahmood activates, destroy one of these godforsaken Blackfeather Whirlwinds. Dissipator activates because I activated a monster effect. But it didn't work, yeah, because he tried to destroy Meteoragon. Again, people don't read. People don't read. They don't know what Warrock does, and they're not reading them anyways. But he tried to use Dissipator to destroy Meteoragon. It didn't work. My next target for destruction had to be Draco Berserker because I couldn't let that thing sit around in the field. It's going to be too much of an issue with its banishing effect. And then with Medium, I set another copy of Dignity, Generations, just to be safe in case they start blowing up some of my monsters. And I guess they just didn't see a way out at that point. And to be honest, they didn't really have one. No monster effects during the main phase. Can't destroy Meteoragon by battle. Wento gives him an attack boost. If you battle Wento first, he's at least going to go up to 3,000. And Mountain could have protected him too. So, yeah, not a whole lot they could have done there. Last one here. I'm going to show you guys my deck. I'll go through this a bit quicker than I went through Warrock, but I am playing Fire King, and I'm basically playing pure Fire King. I know Rising Fire is a Salaman great card, but come on. Is this not just a perfect card for Fire King? The answer is yes. Other than that, I have a couple of other like Fire Beast Warriors in here. Bonfire Colossus, Manticore of Darkness. Canine Tar is great for milling Fire Kings to the graveyard to special summon them back or trigger their effects. Undaunted Bumpkin Beast. This is a wonderful card you're going to see in this duel. The Cuckoo Commanded to Croon, also great for its destruction effect, for drawing cards. And Fencing Fire Ferret. Again, this card can get destroyed from anywhere, and its effect will trigger to blow up a monster. So, the deck that we're going up against is Dark World. And I would just like to say how much I loathe this deck with every fiber of my being. The turns take so long. They take so long. I'm gonna fast forward for its turn. But it is just a constant cycle of mill and draw and mill and draw and summon and draw and summon and mill and draw and link and do this and that and blah da da. Like, it just doesn't end. It pissed me off. And I really thought I was gonna lose this duel. You guys are gonna see. This was definitely a tough one. The first turn, I thought about surrendering at one point because they just were taking too long. It took too long. It was taking too long. But again, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. I'm putting them on fast forward because I'm not gonna make you guys sit through this. Yeah, opening hand, I was stoked. I was like, cool. Open with Onslaught, activate Fire King Island after that, maybe blow up Garunix and, you know, grab the Sacred Garunix, and, you know, then we got like the effect loop going, Ponix to grab like Skyblaze. Just a lot of good things going on here. But unfortunately, what ends up happening, you're gonna see in a second here, card destruction, goodbye to my beautiful hand, and I'm looking at this hand and I'm like, yikes, this is nowhere near as good. Fire King Courtier is a really good card, so I was happy to see that. And I knew with Rekindling I could at least bring back Yaksha and Ponix, but yeah, I was still sweating a little bit. I got Undaunted Bumpkin Beast out because of its effect, which is not... Oh, it is once per turn. But still, it's a great effect, you know? Brings itself out for free destruction fodder, which is pretty cool. Obviously, most people are going to special summon 3 or more monsters during the main phase, so it's nice. They're just going to keep doing 1,000,001 link things right now. It's not going to end anytime soon. I will say, I do like that this event pushed people to be a bit more creative in what they're playing. I do feel that, and I think these duels that I'm showing you guys showcase it very well, that this game, you see the talent of players come out when they do not have access to the most optimum cards. When you have to play based on what's available to you and not based on what the best, most optimum cards are, you are going to find out who the better duelist is, okay? I was in a big pinch here. I mean, he's about to pull off Sylva's effect and make me open the game with 4 cards in hand, which is rough. Obviously, I do have access to my graveyard, so maybe it's not like a true 4-card opening hand, but at this point, they've played through, it's the first turn. You guys know I bitched about this in my What's Wrong with Yu-Gi-Oh video. They got 17 cards in their deck. They've played through 23 cards in their deck. They just got rid of the 1 monster in my extra deck. They got rid of my 1 Garunix Eternity. They've played through 4 of their extra deck, which seems low to me, but I think that's accurate. No, well, they're not done. So they've played through 1/3 of their extra deck, over half of their deck, over 1/3 of their extra deck, and over half of their deck. And yeah. So anyways, I do Manticore of Darkness here. Get rid of the Bumpkin Beast because he'll come back at some point. Again, that's why he's great. It's great fodder. Draw into the Rangbali, which was awesome. Now, also, they have a face-down deck destruction or Eradicator Epidemic Virus. I was sweating that I wasn't going to be able to pull off the Rekindling, but I guess they didn't know what I was going to play and they wanted to wait to see which cards I would activate, or maybe they were waiting to see if I was going to try and search out like a Fire King Island and trigger it to blow that up. But pulling off Rekindling is really what kind of turned things around for me here. So Ponix gets summoned. I use Ponix effect. Unfortunately, with their Unchained Soul of Rage, they're going to go right into Nightmare Unicorn. Ponix still gives me Fire King Skyburn. Unicorn's going to activate. They're going to target my Manticore of Darkness, and then they're going to tribute the Nightmare Unicorn with Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and I believe they declared Spell here to destroy my Fire King Skyburn. So I had to trigger it at this point. I'm going to try and destroy the Yaksha and destroy the #1 infection Buzz King, because the second effect is just, can't do it. It's Fire King, so it's helpful for me to have my monsters destroyed sometimes, but especially with 3,300 attack, I was like, yeah, that thing's gotta go. And then here, they're also going to trigger the IP Masquerena to link off into SP Little Knight. Now, I wasn't too worried about the SP Little Knight here, because thankfully, What's he gonna banish? I don't have any cards on the field anymore. Oh, that's right, it banishes from the graveyard. So sucks that he got rid of my Ponix, but it wasn't enough to shut things down. I got to special summon Rangbali because the Fire King was destroyed. Normal summon Fire King Courtier. Use its effect to destroy my Rangbali. Add Sacred Fire King Garunix to my hand. Garunix is going to trigger at this point. Special summon itself. Blow up the Fire King High Avatar Kirin. And at that point, they did... What did they do to get rid of me? Oh, SP Little Knight. Yes, they SP Little Knight him off the field, but doesn't matter. Kirin is going to trigger to give me back Rangbali. I got to get rid of the Gates of the Dark World because that's just going to let them keep combo looping. That's 3 summons, so we get Undaunted Bumpkin Beast back. I'm not sure why they just did that with Muckraker, but they did it. And at the end of the turn, Sacred Fire King Garunix is going to come back. They want Muckraker so they can keep special summoning monsters back. Obviously, the discard is going to trigger the Dark World monsters, so they're going to do that. They're going to just, again, run through the freaking combo here of getting Grapha and Rainbukes back and refilling their hand. Graveyard of the Wandering Souls. Goated card. Definitely saved me in this game. Every time they kill a monster by battle, which, again, Fire King's going to force you to do a lot of times because you don't want to blow them up with card effects, I'm going to get a Fireball token to cover for me. So they're just going to keep killing my monsters. At that point, I guess they got to a point where they didn't want to keep going, or maybe they couldn't. And then we draw the Fencing Fire Ferret. So thank God it wasn't a spell. That would have been trouble, but I decided to just keep wailing on the Muckraker from the Underworld and see if I could clear out some of his field. It doesn't hurt them too much, because again, they can just keep looping Rainbukes, Overking, and Grapha Dragonlord, so yeah, that sucked, but they blow up the Graveyard of Wandering Souls, because I guess they kind of saw where that was going to go. They bring out the Unchained Abomination, and then they're just going to destroy the tokens. They were really scared of... I think what they were scared of here was if they kill Garunix at all, and it goes to the graveyard, its effect is going to trigger again when a fire monster is destroyed. And I did have Fencing Fire Ferret that I could have just unalived on my turn, and not only destroyed one of their monster and done 500 burn, but then brought Sacred Fire King Garunix back again. But I am confused why they didn't attack the regular Fire King High Avatar Garunix, but okay, you know. It helps me in the long run, so I was okay with it. Again, lucking out here, didn't get another spell, but I summoned the Fencing Fire Ferret. Fire King High Avatar is going to destroy the SP Little Knight. I always thought SP could just banish as a quick effect, but it has to be related to me activating a card effect. So I was like, cool, we're going to get rid of this now. Unchained Abomination is going to trigger to target a card on the field and destroy it. They went after my Sacred Fire King. Unalive the Fencing Fire Ferret. Trigger Fencing Fire Ferret to finally get rid of the Muckraker. Sacred Fire King Garunix is going to trigger and special summon itself back to the field. And at that point, they lost hope and they surrendered. So yeah, that was a fun one. Pure Fire King is really strong. Like, I know people are playing Snake Eye Fire King for a while, but honestly, I don't think you really need it that badly. I think that regular Fire King is really OP. This is definitely a deck that I think if I was like playing casually with friends, I probably wouldn't play this deck. It does have some like intricate and long combos, and I think there would probably be a good amount of people that'd be like, dude, this thing is gassed to the max. But in an event like this, I don't feel bad about it because people are terrible. So it felt good to destroy the Dark World deck playing Fire King that way. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Again, props to Master Duel, props to Konami. I hope that they learn from this event. I will definitely be filling out a survey about this event, letting them know that I approve. Not all the games have been super fun. Like, I did have quite a losing streak this morning. I switched over to Dark and Water, and I was trying to play Dynomist. Wasn't working too well, as you guys can see. I was getting stomped. What are you gonna do? It's gonna happen. And then I think, yeah, even with my Fire King deck, there were points where I was struggling. Like I had a really good win streak and then, you know, it was kind of like up and down from there. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this event in the comments down below. Let me know if you know why some of those cards were left on the limited ban list for like the different attributes, because I am curious why Malevolent Mac Goku N was on there for light monsters. And yes, if you enjoyed this content, please share the video, please like the video, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.